Hello, good day everyone. So today we are now in our fourth week, and our English 10 module 3 entitles Appraising the Unity of Plot, Setting, and Characterization in a Material Viewed to Achieve the Writer's Purpose. So last time we have discussed the textual aids, which are the graphic organizers and the advanced organizers. So as you can see here in the introduction of our module, you can see here concepts, okay? And kung titignan mo siya, sasabihin mo na, masyado naman itong mabigat para ito agad ang introduction. So these are what? These are prerequisite learning so that you can understand well our lesson for today. Why? Because these concepts ay napag-aralan natin since we were in grade 7 up to now in grade 10. So first thing is, let us define literature. So literature is a body of written works, and this is an imaginative work of poetry or prose. So it is distinguished by the intentions of the authors and the perceived aesthetic excellence of their execution. Literature may be classified according to a variety of systems, including language, national origin, historical period, genre, and subject matter. Okay, so there are kinds of literature. So we have myth, epic, short story, what else? And marami pang iba. So before we go there, let's discuss first what are the parts or the elements of a short story or a story itself. So first, we have the setting. So in setting, there you will reveal your time, your place, when did it happen, where did it happen. Okay, so where or when the story takes place. Next is we have the character or the characterization. So characters refers to a person or animals or anything that being personified or being talked in the story. Okay. Next is we have the plot. It consists of the events that happen in the story. It begins with the exposition where you reveal your characters, your setting. The next is the rising action. This is where the conflict starts. Okay, and the climax is the highest point of the story, and going down, this is the falling action or the resolution where the conflict is being solved or resolved, and the last part is the denouement or what is the outcome or what happened in the story. So that is the part or the elements of a plot. Next is we have the conflict. So conflict, it is the challenge or a problem around which the plot is based. Without the conflict, of course, there's no story. So we have many kinds of conflict. We have man versus man. So, ang bida laban sa kontrabida. We have man versus what? Supreme being or mga powers yung kalaban nila. Okay, man versus nature. So, just like 2012 na palabas. And man versus self. Halimbawa, ang kalaban niya is yung alter ego niya, just like the Spider-Man versus the alter ego. Okay, next is we have the point of view. So point of view is who is the one telling the story? Is it in the first person perspective or the second person or the third person? So how the story is being told? Ito ba ay point of view ng bida? O di ba pa nagbabasa kayo ng Wattpad, sino nagkukwento? Minsan yung babae o lalaki or kung sino yung nakalagay doon sa kwento na kung sino yung nagkukwento. So that is the point of view. Next we have the theme. The theme is the central argument that the author is trying to make the reader understand, or that is the why of the story, or this is the general truth of the story, not necessarily the moral of the story. Why? Because there are stories that don't have moral lesson, but there is a reality. For example, Kill Bill. Have you watched Kill Bill? This is my parang all-time example na. So if you have watched Kill Bill, the story was all about what? Getting revenge. Okay, so is revenge good? Of course not. Okay, but that is the general truth there, that revenge is happening in the world. Okay, so yun it's a general truth or the why of the story. Next, we have the tone. The tone is the overall emotional meaning of the story. Is it happy, funny, sad, or depressed? So the tone, it is in other term, this is the writer's choice of words. How would you feel in reading or watching the story? For example, I am the writer and I wanted you to laugh. So I will use words that can make you laugh. That is the tone. You're building the tone of the story. For example, gusto ng writer na pakiligin ka. So what will the writer say? Sabi niya, halimbawa, sabi niya si Alan. Si Alan ay matangkad, pogi, crush na lahat, mag-basketball, ano siya, pero tahimik siya. So, dito, gano'n. And then here comes si Leia na nerd, baday, ganyan. And then, itong si Leia, crush niya si Alan. Okay. And then, habang naglalakad silang gano'n, si Leia ay nagmamadali, tumatakbo kasi binuli siya ng mga kaklase niya, dala-dala niyang libro. At paglabas niya ng room, bigla niya nakabanggaan si Alan. So, pagbangga kay Alan, tumalsik ang mga gamit at dali-dali niya nagdampot. Not knowing na si Alan yung kanyang nakabangga. So, habang nagdadampot ng gano'n, ay biglang naramdaman ni Leia may humawak sa kanyang kamay. Okay. Pagkatingin niya si Alan yun at biglang tumigil ang mundo, nagkakitigan sila ngayon. Okay. At inabot ni Alan yung aklat. So, nung nagmamadaling kinuha ni Leia at pagtalikod ni Leia ay nagganon siya ng hair niya at kinilig siya unti. So, nung lumakad na siya, not knowing ay lumikon din si Alan at keming ngumiti. So, somehow ba kinilig kayo? Okay. So, my purpose is kiligin kayo. So, that is I build the tone, okay, na ito yung mga choice of words ko kasi gusto ko, romantic siya. So, dapat yun yung maramdaman nyo. Okay, next is the mood. Okay, sa mood, wala na dito. Mood, it is what refers to the feeling of the atmosphere the author is describing. Well, yun na nga, gusto ko ang kiligin, so I chose the words. So, dapat, ang mararamdaman nyo ay kiligin kayo. Now, kung hindi kayo kinilig, yun ang problema. Diba, nagpapakilig ako, tapos natakot kayo. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ko na build yung tone na gusto ko, kaya yung naramdaman nyo ay iba. Okay? Nagets nyo ba? Okay. So, the choice of words being used of the writer, it is the tone. Okay, tone is the author's attitude toward the subject, while the mood, it is the atmosphere being felt by what? By the readers, how the author is describing the story. So, that is the mood. So, those are what? Literary devices or the elements of our stories. Okay, so first story here we have is a myth. Okay, what is a myth? Myth is stories about gods and goddesses and heroes passed from one generation to generation. So we all know that myths are being made to explain phenomena. Kasi noong unang panahon, there's no science. So, when they ask, sabi nila, si Diyos ganito, tapos i-explain yung kwento, okay, so that is a myth. Of course, there should be gods and goddesses. So, our story is all about Orpheus.
Orpheus was the son of Apollo and Calliope. His father was a god of music, and her mother was one of the inspiring muses. Orpheus hence inherited unrivaled talents. When he played the lyre, which was a gift from his father, men, animals, and even plants were marveled to hear such stunning chords. Already an adult, Orpheus was part of Jason's crew in the quest for the Golden Fleece, and he saved all the Argonauts, protecting them from the siren song with his music. After returning from his adventure, Orpheus met the beautiful Eurydice, for whom he fell in love with and got married. Eurydice was currently the biggest fan of Orpheus's music. The passion that his young girl felt for his songs often made him jealous of his own songs. However, a tragedy hovered over the couple. One day, while Eurydice was walking through the fields, she was spotted by Aristodius, the beekeeper. He was in love with the young girl, but she always ignored him. The beekeeper went after her to declare his love. Feared to be embarrassed by Aristodius, Eurydice ran through the woods, but while she was escaping through the grass, the unfortunate girl was bitten by a venomous snake. Knowing what happened, Orpheus ran to his lover, but she was already lifeless. The happiness of his songs vanished from that day forward, and only sad and melancholic sounds came from his lyre. Disheartened, Orpheus went to Zeus, Olympus's supreme god, asking him to bring his lover back. The god said that he could not interfere with the business of his brother Hades, but gave him the chance to go with Hermes to the world of the dead, so that he could try to talk to the god of the underworld. Cerberus, the three-headed god, was at Hades' gates, responsible for preventing intruders to trespass into the domains of his master. Orpheus played him a mellifluous song, which made him fall asleep. Hades and his wife Persephone were surprised with the arrival of Orpheus in their domains. Furious, the god said, "How dare you invade my domains with your mortal being? You tell me your motivation, or you will endure endless suffering in Tartarus." "I came here to beg you to allow me to reunite with my lover Eurydice in the world of the living." Orpheus sang a sad song. It was impossible not to feel moved by the boy's pain. As Orpheus was playing his lyre, the world of the dead stopped to listen to him. Hades was touched by Orpheus's music, to the point where he even shed an iron tear. The queen Persephone interceded for Orpheus, and so Hades gave the order to bring Eurydice back. The couple's re-encounter moved everyone. That was when Hades talked. "You are free to go. Nonetheless, you shall go ahead, and Eurydice will walk right behind you, and you will never look back. Otherwise, you will lose it forever." Hades opened a path from the earth to the surface, and the couple departed towards the world of the living. Orpheus walked the whole path quite concerned because he was not sure that Eurydice was following him. When he was almost reaching the end of the tunnel, Orpheus looked back to make sure that the young girl was still there. But as soon as their glances met, Eurydice was pulled back into the world of the dead, and the tunnel was sealed. Orpheus was desolated and plunged into a horrible depression. His music was never happy again. Sometime after, he was found by a group of Bacchantes, who were Dionysus's priestesses, whom, drunk, had the intent to sleep with the youngster. But he was only devoted to playing his sad songs. Furious, the Bacchantes threw rocks at Orpheus, but the power of his music diverted them. The Bacchantes decided to muffle the music with bells, screams, and drums. Orpheus ended up dead and shattered. His mortal remains, along with his lyre, were thrown into the river. The gods punished the Bacchantes and transformed the Orpheus's lyre into a constellation. Despite his awful death, now his spirit was free to find Eurydice in the Elysian fields.
After watching Orpheus, what can you say about the story? Did you enjoy it? Di ba yung parang, sana kung hindi siya lumingon, di sana magkasama na sila ni Eurydice. Okay, yun yung mga question nandun na. Sometimes, di ba yung parang gusto natin ng assurance, pero sinabi na mangyayari yon. So, we have to trust. We have to trust in the process. Hindi yung nagtanong ka na, tapos hindi ka na satisfied, tanong ka ng tanong. Okay, so, meron niyang consequences afterwards. Okay, so wag tayong magalit kay Hades, kasi pumayag na siya nagkaroon na ng kondisyon. Okay, so I will, parang papayagan ka pero there's a test. Bawal ka lumingon. Okay, so this refers to our doubts when we've asked na, halimbawa, "Ma, papayagan na ba?" "Oo, pero tanong ka ng tanong." So, ang ending is, nakakagawa pa tayo ng bagay na labag, kaya hindi tayo napapayagan. Okay? So, that is the story of Orpheus. Next is, we have the story of Ploning. Okay, Ploning, it is a Philippine romantic family drama film based on the popular Kuyunan song. Okay, so maraming klase ng analysis or kwento version ng Ploning. But the story here, it is a Ploning is a woman, a hardworking woman, a beautiful one, na taga-kuyo siya. Okay, so meron siya love na si Tomas na iniwan siya. Okay, so nantay niya, may pangako, then ni-raise niya itong batang si Digo. Ayan, si Digo or si Diego. And nung nire-raise niya yon, parang dumating sa point na si Ploning pala nag-hold on siya dun sa promise, and then gusto niya magluwas ng Manila para hanapin yung kanyang love interest na si Tomas. And it happened na merong na-assign na nurse, si Celeste, nalaman niya na parang kaya pumunta sa kuyo kasi hinahanap si Tomas. So, hindi matanggap ni Ploning na nagtaksil sa kanya si Tomas. And then, doon sa kwento is tragic. So, parang she end up dead or nagpakamatay siya or something. At si Digor, si Diego dito, na si Moise, parang siya na lang sa present na nawala siya. And then, bumalik siya, nahanap niya yung Ploning na yon. Okay, so yun yung mga version na siya yung batang si Digo na inadapt ni na devastated siya na namatay si Ploning, hindi siya na parang i-abandon siya kasi aalis, yun yung pakaramdam niya. So nung namatay si Ploning, parang umalis siya at nawala siya doon sa cargo vessel na yon. Okay, so nung nag-regain niya yung consciousness niya, yung memories niya, bumalik siya, tinahanap niya si Cloning. Bumabalik na sa isip niya na, na siya yung bata na inilagaan siya ni Cloning. Pero niisip niya before na love interest niya si Cloning. Pero siguro na in love siya kasi hindi naman sila tunay na mag-ina. Okay, so medyo weird yung story and so on. Pero tangkilikin natin kasi hindi naman lahat ng kwento ay masaya ang ending. Pati ang buhay, di ba? Okay, anyways. And next, we have the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So later, you will watch that.
Once upon a time in the city of Paris, a young man lived in the bell tower of the Notre Dame Cathedral. He was strong enough to ring the church bells. He was also very gentle, gentle enough to hold small birds in his hands. His only friends were the gargoyles. They did not mind that he had a hunchback and a face so ugly that his evil, cruel master named him Quasimodo, which means half-formed. Quasimodo knew nothing of the world below him. He only knew what his master told him. His master even taught Quasimodo to think of himself as a monster. Quasimodo wanted to join the crowds below him on the streets of Paris so bad, but his master would never let him leave. Quasimodo spent his days carving small wooden figures, wishing he could see the whole world below. Once a year, Paris celebrated the Festival of Fools. The gargoyles convinced Quasimodo to climb down the tower and attend the festival. Everyone wore masks at the festival, so no one would pay attention to Quasimodo's legs. Quasimodo went to the festival and saw the most beautiful gypsy dancer, Esmeralda. The master's newest soldier, Captain Phoebus, saw Esmeralda and also thought she was the most beautiful. All of a sudden, the crowd grabbed Quasimodo and made him king of fools until they found out his face was not a mask. He was a monster. They tied him down with ropes so he could not escape. Quasimodo begged his master for help, but he refused. All of a sudden, the beautiful gypsy Esmeralda cut Quasimodo free and yelled at his master. "You mistreat Quasimodo like you mistreat my people," Esmeralda said. "You will pay for this," yelled the master, and he ordered his new captain Phoebus to arrest her. Esmeralda snuck away into the cathedral with her goat. Captain Phoebus found her there and did not want to arrest her. He told her she could claim sanctuary as long as she stayed inside the church. "If she sets one foot outside this church, she will be my prisoner," said the cruel master. Quasimodo and Esmeralda became great friends. Quasimodo was confused because the master had told him how bad gypsies were, but Esmeralda was kind and good. And she did not think Quasimodo was a monster at all. "I think the master is wrong about both of us," said Esmeralda. Quasimodo helped her plan her escape. Quasimodo carried Esmeralda and her goat down the church walls to the street one night. She gave Quasimodo a special amulet and said, "Use this if you ever need help. It will show you how to find the Court of Miracles, the secret gypsy hideout." She promised she would visit Quasimodo again and kissed him on the cheek. When Esmeralda returned, she brought Captain Phoebus, who had been badly wounded. "The master attacked us, and Captain Phoebus tried to help. Please help him get well." Quasimodo agreed and hid the captain in the bell tower. The master still wanted to find the gypsies and thought Quasimodo might know where to find them all in their secret hideaway. The master tricked Quasimodo and told him he knew where the secret hideaway was, and he would attack the gypsies at dawn with 1,000 of his soldiers. This was just a trick by the cruel master. Quasimodo and Captain Phoebus decided they must use the special amulet to find Esmeralda and warn her. They secretly made their way to the Court of Miracles, but they had no idea the master and his soldiers were secretly following them. Quasimodo and Captain Phoebus led them to the secret gypsy hiding place. "Take them all away," the cruel master yelled to his soldiers. "No, please," begged Quasimodo. But the master had a heart of stone. The next day, the master had chained up Quasimodo in the bell tower and was going to punish Esmeralda in the courtyard below. Quasimodo broke his chains and rescued Esmeralda and brought her to safety in the bell tower. The master tried to break into the tower with his soldiers, but the gargoyles beat the master and his men. At last, the master's evil reign was over. The people of Paris cheered. Hip hip hooray for Quasimodo! Finally, Quasimodo understood he was not a monster at all. But to the people of Paris, he was a great hero.
So I'll just give you a background of The Hunchback of Notre Dame that is written by Victor Hugo. And Victor Hugo is known as a very intellect writer, and at the same time, his stories are all about, or were all about politics. Okay, so yung mga kwento niya may patira sa political system during that time. Okay, so imagine in the story here in the Hunchback of Notre Dame, in year 1482, they were celebrating the day of Araw ng Mga Pangit. Okay, so parang yung totoo, may araw ng pangit. At sa araw na yan, ipaparamdam sa'yo ng pangit ka. Why? I-hail ka na pangit, and habang pinaparade ka sa buong lugar, ay binabato-bato ka. So parang this is the ugly scenario of France or Paris during that time. So gustong patamaan ni Victor Hugo na ito yung nangyayari sa time nila. Okay? Sa time nila. Kung si Quasimodo, pinanganak siyang pangit, he was being adopted by what? By whom? By Frollo. So, ano na yung pinakapunto that time? So, the story tackles about the political system, how everyone is being treated during the time, especially yung mga ugly, parang they are considered, pag may kakaibang mukha, they're considered as what? As malas. And if you have watched the movie, during that time, pinapakita din doon yung parang ini-introduce na yung education, at ang mga conservative people ay they were opposing it kasi they were thinking na yun ay laban sa Diyos. Okay. And if you notice in the story also, the priest ay pinapakita rin na hindi sila excused doon sa kanilang mga emotions na lust, na di ba si Sister Gadule, anak niya sila Esmeralda, because hindi niya nabanggit, but she was raped by priest or kasama din sa cathedral. Okay, that's why sinikreta niya ito. Napanganak niya sa La Esmeralda, nilagyan niya ng kwintas kaya niya nakilala na anak niya. Okay, so those are the very important part of the story. And after that, bago sila ngayon, kasi in France is a very free country, di ba? And their motto is Liberte, Egalite, Fraternity. So after that, during the time kasi yung bago pa is they treat yung mga chauvinist, mga male talaga yung higher in the society, while the ladies are being treated as nothing. Okay, so after nagkaroon ng French Revolution at nagkaroon ng pagbabago sa kanilang sistema, and then they were able to have this motto, which is Liberte, Egalite, and Fraternity. Okay, so at least they have learned the bitter truth. Okay, so throughout our lesson, we are going to determine what is the plot, what is the setting, who are the characters, what is the purpose of the material, what is the conflict, how it is being resolved. And of course, alam na alam nyo na yan. Okay? So, I hope that you have understand and you have learned something from me. Okay? This week. So, good luck. Good luck with your module this week, mga anak. God bless.